Yeah, this is Jason calling from Washington, D.C.
Jason from Washington, D.C., what's on your mind?
All right, so I'm going to say something that's definitely, I don't think I've heard it before.
All right.
I'm assuming most people haven't heard it before. It's like a different take on things, right? And I'm kind of like at the point where, like, what do we have to lose? Being that Trump, like, we know he can kind of be, manipulated through words, right? He loves flattery, the whole nine. Why not somehow, write some articles, kind of leak it out, where he could turn into, like, we could, sell the idea that he could literally be the most pivotal president in history, right? Mm-hmm. Being that he controls so many, such a large part of the country. Just imagine if Trump came out and said something like, love your neighbor, love black people are cool, or just Elon, Joe Rogan. Instead of, talking about all the nonsense, if they just kind of shifted their viewpoints a little bit, because they feel kind of isolated, I think, they feel like they've kind of ran to the right because that's the side that they've been accepted by. I'm saying that if Trump could think that he could literally go down as one of the most important people in the world, why not try the approach of trying to, I don't know how you could go about doing it, but I feel like without some dramatic, shift in the way that we communicate with them or the way the plans that he has, we're pretty much screwed. Like, I think.
Well, I think you're right.
It'd be a terrible.
Matt, go ahead if you would like.
I was going to say, we've talked about this a little bit, and I think Bernie Sanders has done some of that. I think Ro Khanna is trying a little bit of that too. I think that the differences in their approaches or execution shows why this is a fraught exercise. Bernie in 2020 said, okay, Trump, you're serious about this. Maybe we should give stimulus checks for people during COVID. That is a great example of this happening. I think there is a limit to how much Trump is open to flattery. I think he is mainly opening to making lots of money. And so on certain things, I don't think he's going to say all of a sudden, like there is a full court press against DEI right now in corporations. Trump is not, because of Trump's victory, he's not going to cut across that and say, all of a sudden, I'm an anti-racist. I would love it if he did. If somebody could, flatter him to do that. I just think that there are certain structural things. But as far as tinker around the edges, Bernie trying to audit the Pentagon, or I forget what Ro Khanna said, but tried to yes and. Basically, that's the in comedy when you take a premise and say yes and we'll do this. That's sort of what they're trying to do. But I think we also mainly need to organize for what comes after Trump, and to try to take power in the next few elections for working people. But I don't think it's on the face of it crazy.
I mean,
they just have so much power, unfortunately. Like, just imagine Joe Rogan, who, so many people listen to him. Instead of talking the nonsense that he does in the conspiratorial things, if he just came out and kind of just said something a little bit to the contrary. And Elon is a lost cause. I don't have any faith in him.
Right.
But the problem is, or one of the main concerns, of course, is that Trump, he's lazy. And I think that, I believe that he ran to stay out of prison. So he doesn't necessarily want to do the work right now.
Right,
so
but that's the problem. So caller, I think I appreciate your attempt to being constructive, because I would like this to be a reality as well. But I think Trump's laziness is a part of it. But Donald Trump has some ideology. It's not something that he's that consisting with, but he's basically an old racist Fox News grandpa. So for the most part, he's written off the entire part of the population that would, you would say, in theory, flatter him to a position that would be more constructive. Like, he mainly, as you say, ran to stay out of jail. And then who's going to be running the show are the people that he's staffed his administration with, who, I got to tell you, are not going to be the kind of people that will be interested in flattery from the left.
Yeah.
So
I agree, and I'm saying that time is running out.
No, I know, but
I mean, I think the problem is the buzzer already sounded, because Sean O'Brien of the Teamsters, a leader of the Teamsters, I defended him in the RNC thing, I think, because he saw what was coming, which is the Democrats are losers and they're going to lose to this guy, and I have to worry about what my union's doing. And so I think that was frankly a defensive. I think their first role is not to elect Democrats, it's to represent their members. Nonetheless, right. Trump has just announced that I think head of like Amazon's department about safety standards is going to be put up for a major cabinet position. So it doesn't look like, Sean O'Brien, despite, flattering Trump at the convention, is getting a lot of attention on, at least in terms of decision-making things. But I don't think it's a crazy idea. And you're right that we're screwed to the sense that on certain issues, you're going to have to try something.
Yeah, I'm gonna go, but it's the last thing I'm saying. I'm not saying like from a political standpoint. I'm more politicians swaying Trump. I'm saying to have the people, like literally the population, just kind of somehow we need to get the word out there. Like Trump just wants to be liked, and he definitely doesn't want to do the work. So all that I'm saying is, once he's in power, and these people that are hand-feeding him the names, like you just mentioned, these physicians, these are not people that Trump is fully aware of. These, they're telling him who to nominate and who to put up in certain places. Once that really starts happening, it's an animal that Trump would be unable to control.
Well, no, but I don't fully agree with why he's motivated. He's nominating these people because they did something for him, right? Like Linda McMahon, it just came out that a PAC was created right before the Madison Square Garden rally, which cost $500K, and that there were two donors to this one PAC, and the biggest one, the bulk, was Linda McMahon, who donated $1 million, and then he just appointed her to be Secretary of Education. So, like, none of this. He is glad-handing. He cares about handshake deals. He doesn't care about what anybody who isn't on Fox News or Newsmax largely is saying about him, unless he can go after liberals in some kind of more partisan way. And Gerald from New Orleans writes in, I love the caller's idealism, but Trump can't even get his followers to take the COVID vaccine, which I think is a great example of like Operation Warp Speed, even though I wish that the government owned it, was a overwhelming success in creating two mRNA vaccines via Moderna and Pfizer that were highly effective at transmission and reducing transmission and the spread. And then
he does take credit for that, though, too.
But not really, though.
He brags about it, just like he does Roe. He'll brag about it, but then also talk bad about it. He plays both sides.
Right.
So in the same thing, just like he loves to hear talk about Fox, they talk good about him. He would love to see CNN talk good about him. If Majority Report says something good about him, I guess what I'm saying is he feels like it's a lost cause. Minorities, black people, leftists, they don't like me already. So why should I even try to go that direction? I'm saying if he somehow thought that he could get a percentage of people to like him. That's literally all that he wants, is people to like him and to feel like, I think he actually at this
But that's not true, though, caller.
So here's the thing
but he took out a full page ad before he was president to go after the Central Park Five and say that they needed the death penalty and won't retract it. That's ideological.
Here's the thing, caller. This isn't relevant right now. I'm sorry, because he just won an election and won the popular vote. He is not feeling lonely right now. If like the economy tanks and his tariffs do something and he all of a sudden like loses a lot of favorability and becomes, let's say he has less favorability than lower than he ever got in the first term, then we might, because I do think the kernel of truth is that I don't think he's loyal to Republican Party other than a vehicle to his own will to power.
Right.
And so if all of a sudden he does this stuff and it becomes kind of like I have 15% approval rating, but right now
there will be cracks.
Right now he's feeling himself.
Yes.
Like he won the popular vote, which he didn't do last time. Like, and he raised margins among certain communities that he didn't do last time. Like, he's feeling himself.
Yeah. So the point is
I agree.
I'll let you go here. I appreciate the thought exercise. Thanks, Jason.
I appreciate y'all taking my call. I can't believe you took my call. Seriously, this is crazy.
Well,
thanks for the call.
It's good to chat, and I'll say I think the thought makes sense, but perhaps not right now. Like, it's going to be at a point where he's in crisis, where there's going to we can create potentially a situation where you dangle a carrot.
Well, you got a 15% approval rating, maybe do Medicare
like everyone else.
Yes, I'm worried too.
Anything we can do, I'm just like, we just got to throw the whole kitchen sink at it. And, you all are doing a great job. And again, I really appreciate you taking my call. So thank you.
Thanks so much. Cheers, as Matt would say, which I'm starting to catch by osmosis as I'm catching Sam's
I spend one summer in London and all of a sudden I'm cheersing. I mean, the other one is like my assessment. That's one of Sam's favorites. And I've been saying like, my assessment of this, and I'm damn it, I'm talking to him too much. But anyway, that's those are the little things. Soon it'll be milieu. It's already baked in.
Yeah, baked into the cake. Another bite at the apple.
Hey, with Trump's inauguration coming up, we're already seeing what the next 4 years will look like. His senior campaign official threatened Pennsylvania election workers with jail time for counting mail-in ballots with technical errors like missing dates. The real issue with that? Only one left-leaning outlet has covered this story, leaving Trump's base room to dominate the narrative. This isn't just about Pennsylvania. It's a preview of the tactics we're going to see for the next 4 years, so we can't afford not to pay attention. That's why I've been a longtime partner with Ground News. It's an independent app and website that shows us how important stories shaping our lives get covered or ignored across the political spectrum. Plus, it gives context on why they might be missing from our feeds in the first place. For those of you feeling politically burnt out, Ground News makes it easy to stay informed without feeling overwhelmed. Their daily briefings give you a quick, factual breakdowns of the day's biggest stories from every angle. They are also knocking down the price of their top-tier Vantage plan to under $5 a month for our listeners. Just go to ground.news/majority or scan my QR code to subscribe. It's their biggest discount of the year. And maybe even gift one to someone you know. By supporting Ground News, you're not just supporting my channel, you're ensuring independent voices don't disappear. Because what's happening in Pennsylvania is a warning. If we don't push back now, the next election is going to be even harder.